Welcome back, community. Welcome back, beloved community. Always such an honor and a thrill to have you here with us. It has been quite the day, so I'm going to catch my breath. And I'll do that with you together. So let's catch our breath after this day, after many days. As we continue to celebrate Pride and celebrate how far we've come, but also at the same time, obviously, in this moment of struggle, recognize how far we have yet to go. And I'm thrilled at the show we have put together for you. Unfortunately, our guest, who was supposed to be with us, a wonderful young author, her name is Cameron Garrett, who wrote a great book called Full Disclosure, which is available at our bookshop.org, Social Justice Power Hour book list. She couldn't be with us. Schedules changed, circumstances changed, so we're sorry that she couldn't be with us, and we wish her the best, and hopefully she can join us at another time. Still check out her book, though, Full Disclosure. But serendipity is always our friend, and our friends are always our friends. So we were able to bring back an old friend and make a brand new friend, and we're thrilled about both experiences. We have what they call in the business a two-hander today. We're going to speak for a bit up front with Reverend Adam Dyer, Adam Lawrence Dyer, I should say. And then our old friend Monika Nemeth will join us, who is the first openly transgender elected official in Washington, D.C., who will be our special correspondent from the streets of D.C. So we're going to have two great conversations, and maybe even the three of us will stay together for some or most of it. I do want to, at the top of the show, thank the inimitable, inspirational, and extraordinary Valerie Jarrett for sharing time with us last night. It was an extraordinary experience. For those of you that saw it, you know I speak the absolute truth. There's no hyperbole involved whatsoever. She is everything that you expect her to be, and then even more so. If you didn't get to see it last night, that video and all the rest of the videos we've shown, 60 some odd, and they've been very odd at times, power hours are all available for your viewing pleasure, your edification, your inspiration, your empowerment, and hopefully your entertainment as well, are available on our dedicated playlist on our Facebook page, Rustin Center on Facebook. So please go check it out. And please do buy this amazing book by Valerie, Finding My Voice. Again, it's available at our bookshop. Our wonderful intern, Ashley Wells, is with you in the comments section, and she's giving you the link right now. So please go buy this book, and all the authors that we have on the show, even those that don't make it, like Cameron, are on our book list, so you can buy their books and support the authors that are with us. So please consider doing that as well. Speaking of authors and folks that will be with us, I would be remiss if I didn't go through right quick the amazing lineup we have for Pride Month. We've worked very hard to bring you the most wonderful, extraordinary guests, both local community activists and nationally known figures, such as Darnell Moore, such as the unbelievable Ibram X. Kendi. And I want to say that just this day, I got this book. So though this is the #1 book on Amazon right now, is How to Be an Anti-Racist, which is an incredible thing in and of itself. And he is publishing, most of you can't have this yet, but I do. It's coming out in just a couple of weeks. We're going to actually have him on the week that it's coming out, which is the 3rd week of June. And we are incredibly fortunate to share time with one of the most important people voicing a platform at these difficult times. We also have coming on another incredibly important voice is Michael Arsenault. His first book, I Can't Date Jesus, was a wonderful piece of work. And then he has this incredible new book, I Don't Want to Die Poor. I can't wait to speak with him about that. Charlotte Clymer is going to be with us. He used to be with Human Rights Campaign, wonderful voice in our community. Our dear friend Walter Nagel is going to join us. And what's wonderful about this experience is Walter is going to be joined by California State Senator Scott Wiener, who is the person that spearheaded the campaign to have Bayard Rustin pardoned for his crimes, quote unquote, in the 50s and 60s. So that'll be a great. Walter and Scott have never met, so we're looking forward to that virtual bit of business here, and we're thrilled to be able to introduce them. And then finally, tomorrow night, Meredith Toulousen's going to be with us. I wrote a groundbreaking memoir called Fairest. New York Times wrote a beautiful piece about it, and then everybody from InStyle to Teen Vogue and up and down the line, I think even People Magazine have lauded the incredible import and beauty of this book, and we can't wait to share this time with her tomorrow night. And then last but not least, Friday night we'll be back with our Open and Out Mic Night, which is our chance for the community to come together. And what's incredible about the Open Out Mic Night, whereas before at the center at our physical headquarters, we would gather together our local community and sing and dance and put seltzer down our pants and speak spoken word and bare our hearts and our souls and tell our stories. With this wonderful virtual platform, we are literally gathering together from across the world. And Friday will be no different, except for it will be a little more special because it'll be our first Pride open mic. So we're looking forward to gathering together voices and speaking out loud and proud. So join us for that as well. So that's all I got to spiel for you right now. And I'm terribly excited to start what's going to be a very different kind of show. And what a wonderful experience we're going to have. So let me bring our first guest up without any further ado. My nonsense you've all bear witness to, and now let us bear witness to someone who deserves a lot more of that bearing of witness. The Reverend Adam Dyer, he's the lead minister at the First Parrish, Cambridge, Unitarian Universalist. Welcome, Adam.
Hello. It's a pleasure to be here.
And I want to, as I said, you and I came to be new friends.
Yes.
We have a mutual old friend who is Glenn Pinnell, who most of you know better as Mike Hot Pence. And he is so much more than the hot pants, although he looks darling in the hot pants. He's a wonderful individual, and I'm thrilled that his friendship brought me your friendship. So welcome, my friend.
Thank you. It is a pleasure to be here. I'm very grateful to Glenn. He's been a dear friend for 30 plus years, and I love the fact that he's connected me with you and the Rustin Center here. I mean, Bayard Rustin is someone who is incredibly important to me personally in terms of his inspiration and what he was and what he did. You know the deal. You know the story. I don't need to tell it to you. But
I never tire of hearing it, especially other people's views. And what's amazing about Bayard is that there's always something new to learn. He was not only was he a very definition of intersectional before that term was even coined by Kimberly Crenshaw decades later, but he was the very definition of exponential. Yes. I mean, he not only organized the March on Washington, which is a historical fact, he not only brought nonviolence to the movement, he not only inspired the Freedom Riders, but he brought the peace symbol to America. It's amazing, how many facets of his good works you can just pull and pull and pull and still not be anywhere near the end of it.
And I think he's an example of something that we may lose a little bit of really media-driven world where everyone's sort of looking for their Obama 2004 moment. And he's someone who was a phenomenal worker bee in many ways. He's someone who understood systems, who understood relationships, and understood how to build all of that. And I look at that as just such an example of how to actually get things done. I was certainly turned on to him through my learning about civil rights and all that growing up in New York. But I think it was, I don't know, do you know Mandy Carter?
Yes. I mean,
okay.
Virtually, we're friends.
Okay.
We're friends.
So I met Mandy Carter through the National Black Justice Coalition several years back, and was just blown away when she started telling me the stories of how important he is still and relevant to the movement. So, but yeah. Happy to be here, and so happy to be in de facto Valerie Jarrett's box here. I'm feeling the Valerie Jarrett love. She's another person I met through the National Black Justice Coalition, and she's just
And she really
everything.
is. I have to tell you,
Sensational.
When someone is so inspirational, and you read and you see and you know what they've done, you know their good works. Sometimes you meet them and you're like, oh, but her, you meet her and you're like, oh. And you see it, right? I mean, yeah. So welcome to her box.
Thank you.
I do want to make sure that we have a whole bunch of folks who are joining us. Feel free, know this is a community conversation that Adam and I, as you can tell already, are fast friends, and we're gonna be able to talk nonstop and lightning quick. But feel free to jump in with comments, with questions, with concerns. Even with just snaps to let us know that you think that we're doing something that's positive. We encourage all of that. We want this to be a community, and it's only a community when you're a part of it. So feel free, those of you that are viewing, not just to be passive, but to be active, not aggressive, but active. So Adam, Reverend,
Adam is
I like Reverend a lot. I like righteous.
It's fun in the right setting. I will tell you, it's really great.
Reverend, if I may, oh my gosh, I was remiss at the top, and I apologize because I'm always trying to get to the guest, and I really was excited to talk to her. I really am.
Yeah.
I want to give a very happy birthday shout out to one of our board members, the Reverend Bob Moore, who is the head of the Coalition for Peace Action. Been doing this good work for decades and decades and decades. I kind of call him my social justice daddy. I am so proud that he's part of our board, and I hope that this day has been as delightful as he deserves, because he's a very, very good man who's been doing very, very good work for the people for many, many years. So happy birthday, Reverend Moore, good friend. Bob, thank you so much for your service.
Happy birthday.
All right. So what I really love is that in the midst of our difficult struggle right now, and a necessary difficult struggle, and a struggle that we need to find a way not to end. It's not about ending it, because people are, it's not about ending it. It's about how do we walk from it to a better solution. It's not an end, but a way to get somewhere much better for all of us.
Yes.
And what you've taken to do is writing. And your pieces have been really powerful and meaningful. And I'd like you to kind of expound upon a little bit of that for us, if you don't mind.
Sure, absolutely. Well, I mean, the first thing you should know is that I come to this not just as a person who comes from a faith tradition, but I do come from a place of having been an artist, having traveled extensively, having done a lot of stuff, having gone to Princeton where I met Glenn. And so when I come to my writing, which I started when I was an undergrad, I'm looking at a whole picture. And when I see where we're at right now, I don't understand why we can't, specifically as a faith leader, why we can't get ahead of this stuff. It makes no sense to me that we wait for vigils, that we wait for protests. Not that we're waiting for it, but it just feels so futile to not get ahead of it. So I'm done with vigils. I actually wrote a poem called "No More Vigils." It'll be published tomorrow. And I'm done with waiting. I think that there have got to be ways to get in front of police violence, police brutality, and part of the solution, I think, is that that certain folks haven't been willing to step in front, or listen, or foreground the voices that can make the most difference. And so right now, here I'm in Cambridge, Massachusetts. I also work with Harvard University. And the communities that I'm a part of right now, we're all looking at different ways to create real solutions through different kinds of committees or community engagement organizations to say to police departments, no, we never want this to happen. We never want George Floyd to happen here. Like I said, I'm tired, just so tired. I've been watching this this violence, been feeling this violence for way too many years, and many to many other folks have as well.
So by doing that, are you looking at, I mean, again, not to bring the specter of Val Jarrett back again, but the police task force report that they published in 2015 that had, directives and had actionable items, and there was a way forward.
I can take your directive and up it by one. When I was working for PolicyLink in Oakland, California, some of my dear colleagues there, who are amazing and brilliant people, worked on a blue ribbon panel for the San Francisco police, because what they discovered was that there was this rash of anti-trans and homophobic behavior and violence that was happening in the San Francisco police department. And so there was this effort to really dive deep into why that was happening and to create a report. There's a very exhaustive report on what the solutions can be or could be. And they were able to enact a lot of that. A lot of people were fired. A lot of there's a whole other side to this that's kind of awful, but I think there are real solutions out there. And so that work actually came in part from the work that Valerie Jarrett was referencing as well. And more of it needs to go on. It can't just be in these hot spots after there's something that's happened. You have to come in and do the work ahead of time. And so through my writing, through my blog, which is spiritualwellness.org, I can put that into the chat if you want. In my blog, I write about this. I preach about this from the pulpit. I'm very lucky as a Unitarian Universalist minister that I have freedom of the pulpit. I can talk about race, I can talk about gender, I can talk about sexuality, frankly, and in real terms from the pulpit. And so I'm not quiet about this. I'm not quiet about it anywhere I go, even among the other Harvard chaplains. So
I threw it up there for folks to see. I hope I spelled it right.
Oh, you didn't. You got spiritual wellness. Can I get in there at all?
Yeah.
How?
Yeah.
How do I chat?
You should be. There's a public aspect, and there's a little box at the bottom. But tell me what I did wrong, and I'll do it.
Spirit,
right?
U, and then just WELLNES. So there's no AL in the middle.
Oh, all right.
I don't know what that'll take you to. It could
all right,
be,
don't go there, anybody. Avoid that.
Which is the reason I use my middle name, is because like Adam Dyer, so I was a dancer before I was a minister, and let's just put it this way. There's a no, there needs to be a U in it.
Where's there a U in it? What
Spiritu. Well,
that's not even a word.
I know. I made it up.
All right. I respect that.
That's okay.
It sounds like an Italian restaurant.
Right? Spirit, UWELLNES.
Oh, like Harvard U or like Princeton U.
Yes, that's it.
All right. Look now. Tell me look now.
Yeah, that's great.
Oh, I'm so excited. I've done one thing right today.
No, you've done many things right.
So tell us, it must be difficult to minister to the community right now. So how do you find the strength? How do you find the faith? How do you find the spirit to do that? And I'm not asking my black friend. I'm asking you as a man of the cloth, right?
Mm-hmm.
How do you return to that and say, okay, I don't have the strength. How do I give the strength to others?
So I'm first going to answer you as your black friend.
Okay.
I get tired. I cry. I rage. I've been on 3 different calls with other black men today where we were just like, I don't know how many F-bombs I can drop here, but
many as you want.
What the fuck? I've been thinking, all day long. I spent the first 6 hours of this day literally walking in circles around my apartment trying to figure out how I'm going to focus on this. And what brought me back was thinking about one of the young people I work with in the congregation, and that you think about that young person gave me hope. I realized there's a future. I have to actually keep on going, and it's very, very, very hard. How do I bring a message of hope to other people? It's a little bit of physical disassociation I have to go through, quite honestly. I have to do a wedding this weekend. And there is also a gathering, a silent march at City Hall in Boston. And they're at the same time. And I realize that I have an obligation as someone who's serving a community to do this wedding. And I have to actually not go to this public witness event. And that's very painful. It's very hard. But I have to remember that there's a privilege that I get in being able to marry people. As a Black gay man, to marry people is an enormous privilege. So putting things in perspective, asking people to always return to their spiritual self, whatever that is, whether it involves God or not, that you find this place of being able to look yourself in a mirror and say, I love you still. I love you still. And that place is where we begin to be able to look at others and say, I love you as well. So trying to bring people back to the basics. That's what I do.
And that's extraordinary. There's nothing simple about that. Mm-hmm. That's probably one of the most complex and difficult things to do.
It is.
So I applaud you, and our community thanks you for that. I love what you said, and I just want to spotlight it. You said to be able to marry people as a Black gay man is so meaningful, and I'm so glad that you recognize that, because there are so many people who do these things, these important things, these meaningful things, and don't recognize their place in it. And I think it's imperative that we do.
Yeah, I walk into my church when I could walk into my church, because we're Unitarian Universalist churches for the most part are going to be staying closed until there's a vaccine. We've committed to that from an equity perspective. That if one person can't come in, why should only some people be allowed in? That's another story. But I walk into my church, it's 183 years old. And the congregation is 383 years old. And I'm the first Black lead minister of this historic congregation. And I'm aware of it every time I walk in there. I'm aware of it every time I give my title, Reverend Adam Dyer, lead minister, First Parish of Cambridge and Unitarian Universalist. I kind of can't believe it sometimes. So I just have to breathe and be very, very, very grateful that I have this privilege to be able to do that.
So I want to tell you now, because I have a great fondness for the Unitarian folks, and I want to tell you why. I have struggled with religion, with organized religion, my entire life. At my bar mitzvah, I actually stood and said to the assembled folks that I couldn't promise myself to Judaism. I needed to explore. I needed to go off and see what else there was. I was 13 years old, and I could hear the checks being ripped up in their envelopes. But it was important to me to make that statement. I'm thrilled that my parents supported that. Yes. And my feelings of organized religion haven't changed that much, though I've met many inspirational folks. Mm-hmm. And I want to give a shout out to the Reverend Alexis Fuller-Wright of Christ Congregation in Princeton, and Bill Neely from the Unitarians here in Princeton.
Yes.
Who are good folks. Do you know Bill?
I know of Bill. I know that congregation, though. I do know that.
He's incredible. And I want to give a shout out to the Plainfield Unitarian Church, which is the focus of this story. We were called early on, before the center was a center, and I got a phone call from a crying librarian, which sounds like a great band name, by the way. But this crying librarian was saying, we were supposed to have a drag queen story hour, and they've canceled it. Not because anybody complained, not because there was controversy, but they were afraid of controversy, so they canceled it. And she said, can you help me find a venue? And I said, yes, it'd be an honor. We found the Plainfield Unitarian Church. And we went there. Harmonica Sunbeam was the drag queen story hour storyteller. That's where we met Harmonica for the first time. She's now one of our community liaisons. She's the Grand Marshal, along with Mike Hotpence, of our virtual Pride on the 20th.
Wonderful.
But that was a great moment because not only do we get to meet harmonica, not only do we have that moment in that place of faith, but then they had to move from their larger structure and they downsized to a smaller congregation. And they bestowed upon us, and this is such an honor, in our center in Princeton now, we have 2 pews from the oldest Unitarian church in New Jersey. They're from 1875.
Wow.
And
Wow.
we hold them in such great honor. So you guys are okay with me.
Oh, thank you.
You especially, you are, I mean, your spirit emanates, your light, it shines. And we appreciate you being here with us.
You got me on a good day with some good Valerie Jarrett lighting. So I'm feeling good about it. I will say we have our challenges. Like any community, we have our challenges, and particularly have had challenges over race in the last 5 to 7 years. And we are fighting through them. We're working through them, and I have to applaud my colleagues, particularly my colleagues of color, who just really rise to the challenge time and time and time again. And white allies as colleagues who won't stop preaching the message, who will continue to preach the anti-racist message despite congregations not wanting to hear that. They're like, oh, more race? And they're like, yeah, more race. You're going to hear it until it's done.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
So.
Thank you so much. What I want to do is if you'll stay with us, please. I would love. We're going to bring Monika on, and the 3 of us can talk for a bit and just see where we all go together. I think that's a wonderful journey to explore. So without further ado, our good friend Monika Nemeth. Monika, thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Thank you for having me. It's, Robert, I always love getting together with you. It's my pleasure.
Monika, our history is robust. Again, in the nascent stages of the center, we were not even in our space a month and a half. It was right before Christmas of 2 years past. And Monika just showed up. And for those of you who don't know Monika, and I should say this because I shouldn't assume anybody knows anything about anybody, however special they may be, Monika Nemeth is the first openly transgender elected official in Washington, D.C. Yeah, you can snap for that. That's something incredible, right? And Monika came to our center. She came out to Jersey from D.C. to take care of your mom, if you don't mind me sharing that,
yes.
And had heard about the work we were doing even in those early days and wanted to see what we were doing, who we were, and we just became allies, friends, co-conspirators, and I hold her very dear to my heart. Even when she was in DC, she would come out and do events with us at the center, and we had plans to meet up in DC, and that will be paused for the moment, but not forgotten. Monika's also involved with Trans Pride and with Capital Pride, so we can talk a little about how that's being affected. But what I want to talk about at the top with you, and Adam, feel free to be involved. Do not feel like you're a participant. You're not a spectator. Please. You are in what I feel is almost the epicenter of what is going wrong with the administration's response. When I see paramilitary folks on the steps of the Lincoln Memorial, my heart is broken, and I worry for the very foundation of what our country has become, and if we can ever come back from it. So what is your from the streets, from the you are there? What are you seeing, and what does it mean to you?
For me, it's heartbreaking to see. It really is. Just I'm gonna do a quick rewind. Part of how I wound up visiting you at the center was you had started to follow me on Facebook, and I was like, well, who is this group? And what caught my attention was your name. It's like you never see Bayard Rustin's name anywhere, and That's like, to me, he's one of those forgotten heroes. So that immediately caught my attention. I'm like, okay, I'm interested. Who are you? And then when I realized you were in Princeton, New Jersey, and I was born and raised in New Jersey, and my mother was still living in New Jersey at the time, I made it a point of making sure that I got to visit and got to know you, because to me that was just wonderful. I just love the fact that you call yourselves the Bayard Rustin Center. That that is your mission. That is your, whatever you want to call it, your reason for being was Bayard Rustin. Like, perfect. And so thank you for that.
Well, it was really important to us. I mean, it's a wonderful opportunity just to talk again about his intersectionality. We want to be a social justice center, to live by that very, difficult but necessary road to hoe, where you want to bring everybody together. And we thought there was an opportunity with this horrible national climate, and this was 2.5 years ago, before we even understood what it was going to become. We had glimpses of it. We had fears of it, but now it's reality. But at that point, we were already boots on the ground. The Women's March, and those moments where we said, okay, no mas, no more. We're going to be out here, and we're not going to settle. We're not going to allow our freedoms to be taken away. We've done our best thus far. But Bayard Rustin was always a hero of mine, and I went to Walter Nagel, his partner, to get the name. I wanted to do it in the right way, and I'll say this: my lovely bride, who is a lawyer, actually forced me to do it. I always want to give her due. It's wonderful having a lawyer as a partner, keeps me out of trouble, but it also, she said, if you want to use the name, make sure you get the explicit permission of the foundation, and that's what we assume. We go to the foundation. And I was like, no, if we put the name on a nonprofit, they're not going to be bothered. They're going to be thrilled. So I called the foundation and ended up speaking on the phone directly with Walter. And it was, and I was gobstruck. I was, just in awe. And he's a wonderful, inspirational figure in and of himself. And I'll never forget that first conversation after an extensive talking about what we plan to do, how we plan to do it, what our mission was. He said, okay, use the name, let's see how you do. And it was very probationary. And I was always terrified to report back to him and then he would say, you know what, take the name down. You're done, kid. But he came out on Bayard Rustin's birthday that next year. And he talked with our folks, brought the community together, and gave us his official approval, and then became one of our community liaisons, like you are as well, Monika, and we hold you dear to our heart that way. And we're thrilled for that partnership and that relationship. So thank you, and I'm glad that that's what brought you to us. But our relationship has deepened so much since.
So today, and as you were speaking, literally I'm looking out my window here, and I'm just in a nice, quiet residential neighborhood in Washington, D.C., and watching a neighbor take a walk. And as she's just taking a walk, she's carrying by a sign a handmade sign that says Black Lives Matter. So welcome to Washington, D.C. That's one of the nice things about D.C. is this is very much an activist town. And boy, has it been active the last 72 hours or so now. There's active protests going on. The last feed I saw is that there's protests heading up towards the US Capitol. Don't exactly know the full state of what's going on there, but they seem to be leaving the White House area. Now they're heading towards Capitol Hill. We had curfews that started at 7 p.m. yesterday and the day before. Today we have an 11 p.m. curfew, so I guess they felt that things have settled down a bit, or at least enough. Seeing military on the streets is heartbreaking. I I never thought I would ever see the day, honestly. It's hard for me to process. It's hard for me to wrap my head around that fact.
Do you think that it relates back to you not being a state? That there's no governor that has to be.
Absolutely, because he could do it. I mean, that's the bottom line, that he had the, because we are not a state, and for those who are not aware, so Washington, D.C. is not a state, therefore it is under the control of, it's a federal district, and so the federal government has a lot more authority here than it would anywhere else. So whereas they cannot send in the military to New York, to New Jersey, or elsewhere, he wants to call up the military and bring it into the streets of Washington. There's very little we can do to stop him.
But Monica, doesn't that just sort of preempt the mayor's authority? And
Yes.
I mean, with the president who has such a history of disrespecting Black women, I can't help but point that out.
Absolutely. And I'm pretty sure she's livid. I know the mayor. I consider her a friend. She's very measured publicly. I am sure privately she's not. And I saw a tweet, basically she's like statehood now. I mean, she's been fighting for statehood. I mean, we all here advocate for statehood, and this drives the message home. We need statehood, and that's certainly one of the things that we're pushing for very strongly. And this is an election year, and we're making sure all the Democrats are signing on, and we certainly have more sponsors for statehood than we ever have. We just need to get rid of a few impediments. Hopefully November 3rd will allow us to do so.
I love the idea of Mitch McConnell as an impediment.
But that's what he is. But let's face it, that's exactly what he is.
So, and you're also, forgive me, I'm pretty sure I have this right. You're vice president of the Gertrude Stein Democratic Club. Is that right?
Yes, vice president for legislative and political affairs. Correct. And
tell us, what does that organization do?
So the Gertrude Stein Democrats, we are the second oldest. I'm going to make sure I get this right. We are the second oldest party-affiliated political organization really in the world, I think, certainly in the United States, because we were founded in 1976. The oldest non-affiliated political organization in the world is GLAA. It used to be known as the Gay Lesbian Activist Alliance. It used to be just simply the Gay Activist Alliance, which was founded also here in Washington, D.C., of which I'm a member, is still active, just a few years before, and by much of the same people. Frank Kameny, who his biography was just published yesterday, as a matter of fact, for anyone who's interested in fact, we'll have to talk about that offline. Robert, someone whose biography you should promote. A great hero in the gay community, LGBT community, Frank Kameny, was the founder of this organization. And basically we are a democratic organization that fights for the rights, the interests of the LGBTQ community. We're focused here in Washington, D.C. We're very local focused, but we do get involved nationally where we can. So
that's good work. Let's also talk just for a moment, or as long as you'd like to, about pride. And Adam, too, feel free to jump in about this too. What pride means right now. I know that the center, we're having this conversation literally every day. How do we keep pride in our hearts? How do we celebrate pride in a way now that we make sure. I mean, what I always think of, and our community outreach coordinator Carol Watchler always voices this as well. You always want to think about how many folks are coming to this Pride as their first Pride. How many people this first Pride is their moment where they have finally been able to identify, or talking about children or 77-year-olds or anybody in between who have identified at some point this year or haven't identified yet but are ready to be prideful. And I keep that in mind. I bear that in mind as we say Pride is canceled or Pride is postponed. We can't do that. Maybe the parade in the street has to be postponed, but the feeling and the moment can't be, because it's so important to so many who don't have a voice during the rest of the year.
Do you all remember your first Prides?
Well, for me, as an ally, an advocate, a co-conspirator, I remember this. I remember going to Provincetown, going to Cape Cod, and seeing men holding hands and going into the drag bars. And I remember what that felt like to me. It was such a moment of freedom, and it was so important that people were able to express their love freely and openly and publicly. I remember that, and I was 7, 8, 9 years old. And I can imagine, I can imagine how exponential that must be for someone who identifies, someone who has gone through all the bullying, all the being ostracized, all the feeling different. I can't imagine that.
And for me, I was not out at the time, but this would have been here in DC, I want to say around 1985 or thereabouts, 85, 86. I was a college student. I was in DC away from home. So I was able, spent the summer in DC, or at least the first part of the summer in DC. So I was able to at least attend Pride. When Pride was a significantly smaller event in DC than it had become. And so here we are 35 years later, thereabouts. And now I'm an executive producer at Capitol Pride. So I do have some memories of it. It was.
And what about you, Adam? What was
summer 1985, New York.
Oh.
So if you're gonna cut your teeth on Pride, it's New York in the 80s. It was amazing, and it's everything that you're talking about. And I'm hoping that there's a way that specialness can be captured. Like, I think it helped form me. It gave me license to just be myself for the first time ever, and to at those times, New York Pride still went up Fifth Avenue. I don't know if it does anymore. I went from 59th Street and Fifth Avenue all the way to Christopher Street, and you would stop for this moment of silence, and you're looking back at a million people. It's just that simple, and just silent for so powerful. I think it's really important that we try to create those moments for the young folks now coming up, or anybody, regardless of age, who is coming into themselves and recognizing who they are. So,
yeah, here in DC, we haven't canceled Pride in the sense that, okay, right now there's no parade, there's no festival, which would have been coming up very soon. We'll see what we can do maybe later on, but there are events still. Most of them are virtual, but there are some outdoor events as well and we have a website, and Capitol Pride has the philosophy, first of all, Pride 365. So we always have stuff going out throughout the year anyway. And so we shuffle things, and we just put out a statement literally just before this call today, this presentation today, because of the protests and because of Black Lives Matter. And how we're going to be incorporating things and respecting everything related to that. It's very powerful. And, you know, I'm wearing this year's Pride shirt.
Awesome.
And we came up with this theme, Still We, hashtag Still We. And the idea behind it was we had our brainstorming session on this back in the beginning of January. And we were like, okay, so what are we going to do this year? And, what's going to be it? And we sort of started settling around the fact that, no matter that this is an election year, we didn't want to be overtly political, but at the same time, the community's been through a lot. Let's face it. In the last 3 years, the community's been through a lot, but you know what? We're still here. And so we started getting around that still we love, still we dance, still we rejoice, still we fight, still we cry, still we vote. And we're like, and how do we wrap that up? And I remember saying, still we pride. And in the end, who knew that this would really resonate 3 months later when all hell's broken loose? When we got COVID, you've got, people, military on the streets right now because it's like, so, yeah. But we still come together, and in the letter, I'm just going to read the last sentence just that Capital Pride put out today. Still, we must come together to support, love, honor, resist, vote, protest. And still, we must stand up to strive for peace and equality. Still we. So
That's fantastic.
Thank you. So Glenn is in the audience, our mutual friend, and he says, I remember marching in one of my earliest NYC Pride parades, kissing my first boyfriend in front of St. Patrick's on Fifth Avenue because we wanted to piss off a bunch of protesters. That's our Glenn. That's our Mike Hotpence. And then he says, still one of my favorite kisses ever. That's beautiful.
Wow.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say just two quick things. I remember marching in front of St. Patrick's Cathedral the year after my first Pride and having protesters spit at me. That is something that was a seminal moment for me that made me realize that, oh, this is not just a party, it's a march. And I miss the march element. Now it seems to be a parade, more of a parade now. I'm like, I want the march thing. I've since been very involved in San Diego Pride, which is a phenomenal organization, Fernando Zuapac Lopez, and what they're doing out there. So if you should definitely check it out. They're going to be doing some great stuff online. So just a little bit of advertising.
And speaking of online, I want to... Go ahead.
Go ahead. I was just saying I love San Diego. I've been to San Diego a bunch, but I have not been to their Pride itself.
Oh, you have to go. Imagine, it's Pride and San Diego. I mean...
So I'd be remiss if I didn't mention those of you that are watching on Facebook. In the corner, it says Virtual Pride. That's our Virtual Pride. When we came up with that logo, and I want to thank Frank Mahood for that beautiful logo that he created. You can see we have the colors of the rainbow. We also have the trans colors as well. Again, want to be as inclusive as possible. We threw the first Pride Parade ever in Princeton, which is amazing. It was only last year. It's pretty phenomenal, and begs the question why it hadn't been done before. Stephanie, who's one of our wonderful visitors to the center, said my first Pride Parade last year was with the BRCSJ. And Stephanie, we were so proud to have you with us. And when we had that parade, we made a conscious effort not to be on Nassau Street. And for those of you that know, Nassau Street's the main street in Princeton where all the parades go, where there's ever an event, you go on Nassau Street to be visible. We thought it was far more important and meaningful if we walked through the Witherspoon-Jackson neighborhood, which is in the back of Princeton, which is the historically African-American, now Latinx neighborhood. And we brought that community together with us. And what was incredible about it is we didn't expect to have the turnout we had. We thought we'd have a couple hundred people maybe. We planned this in 8 weeks. And we ended up having 3,000 people in the streets. We ended up having the governor and the first lady with us. And one of the proudest moments of many of that day for me was to witness our Governor Murphy, who is an incredible, incredible man, running up to the porches and the stoops and the steps of folks who he would have never been able to interact with on Nassau Street, on walking down the same street he's walked down dozens of times before. His interaction in this neighborhood was rare, if at all, and we brought him there, and we recognized all our friends, all our allies, all our communities all at once. Pride doesn't have to be exclusive of one community. It can be inclusive of all communities. And I think this year, even more so. And I'm thrilled that all, it seems that all the prides are recognizing that and making sure that's part of their platform as we move forward.
Absolutely, that is very much a part of Capital Pride, is the inclusivity. And I'm not going to read the address here, but if you go out to capitalpride.org, you could find a video and a link to that, and there's a lot of information about how we're addressing that, and inclusivity is very much part of the message. So,
and if I'm not mistaken, I spelled it wrong. I'm trying to type and still look at you. You're both so beautiful, first of all, and also I don't want to be like a rude host. So I'm trying to type as I do it, and I got nothing right.
I'll send it to you in a separate chat, and you can put it.
But I think I got it now. Yeah, it's even coming up. So those of you that are watching from Facebook, capitalpride.org, and there's a beautiful, there's the dome in rainbow colors. I see it now. So.
And then we have a page specifically now, because of all this, just capitalpride.org /stillwe, which will give you to what we're doing now in the light of everything.
Well, we appreciate all the work you're doing. Reverend, thank you so much for staying with us.
Oh, sure.
I love the tableau of the three of us. I think we're very handsome people, very beautiful.
That's a nice picture.
Yeah,
I'll take it.
Yeah.
And Reverend, when you get to DC, let me know. I'd love to.
I used to live there, and my dad lives in Laurel, Maryland, so I'm coming down. I love Capital Pride. So yes.
Road trip. Can I come? Can I be your date?
Yes.
Yes, absolutely. Even before all the curfews and everything are lifted, I plan to get down there. So I will hit you up, Monika.
Right, and you'll come down to the center too. Princeton.
Yes.
And if you need a place to stay, I have a workout room with a 100-pound bag. You can sleep in.
I can sleep with. It's better than a boyfriend.
Yeah, I'd like to end with this. One of the things that, with everything that's happening, we're also forgetting that as we face the epidemic of racism and inequality that's been around for hundreds and hundreds of years, we also are in the midst of a pandemic. And some of the folks in our community are at home with people who aren't as accepting as them, with people who aren't as loving or respectful of who they are, how they identify, who they love. And I think you two are uniquely suited maybe to throw out a couple of words on how they can make their way through this difficulty and come out the other side and know that they're still loved. Would you mind sharing a bit of inspirational gospel, if you will?
Is that for me, or is that's both of us, right?
Whoever wants to go first, you're both going to do.
Monika, it's all yours. You take it. You start us off.
Okay. Well, I think we've all been there. So understand, I know what you've been through, I know what you're going through, and no, you are not alone. And it does get better. This will end, and you will be able to resume your life. And there are groups, even if right now it has to be virtual, there are groups and a community that are there for you. And do not hesitate to reach out to us, because we're there for each other. In our community, we always refer to each other as family. I mean, that's like, when we kind of get together, we meet someone, we're wondering, are they LGBTQ? We always just say, are they family? Because that's how we think of each other in the community, as family. So just know that you're family, and family sticks together, and we are there for you. If it winds up being your chosen family that's there for you, so be it, but you're not alone. Reverend, I'll let you.
Thank you for that beautiful reminder, because that is what I think keeps us in community, is remembering that we are family, and that definition of being connected to each other, regardless of birth, regardless of blood, but connected as family. And I say to those people who are watching this, who may be wrestling, who may be in quarantine with folks who don't get them, that they can't share with, that you're looking at the living proof that there is a reason for tomorrow, that you can be trans and be elected, that you can be Black and gay and be a minister. And I think every day I'm grateful for being able to be that example, even if it is just for one person at one moment in time. Then all of the pain, all of the struggle, all of the being spat at in front of St. Patrick's Cathedral was worth it, because someone else will say, I can do that too. So don't give up. Don't ever give up.
Thank you both so much. This was not the hour we expected, but this is the hour that we deserved. And I wouldn't have had it any other way. I'm so very, very grateful to you both for your time, for your spirit, for your energy. This was exactly what I think a lot of people needed to hear and to see. And I hope that you both will come back again, visit us here virtually, and then as we made promises to each other, we will see each other when the world is welcoming back, when it's safe, when it's sane, and when we're ready to be together again. I intend to hold both your hands and walk down the street. So thank you very, very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And Glenn says, so beautiful. Thank you all. And I want to thank our community for being with us. I want to say goodnight to the two of you. I have one last thing I want to share with the community. I welcome you to hang out in the quote unquote green room, and I can say goodnight to you personally if you're so inclined. Thank you both again.
Thank you.
So I do want to say that there's been a lot of talk of love tonight, and I would be remiss if I didn't talk about these two folks right here. This is my mom and dad, and today is their anniversary. They've been married 58 years, and they are incredibly beautiful people. And those of you that know me have been to the center. Everything I am and everything that I do and all the good works that I try to put forth into the community is everything thanks to them and the love that they showed me and that they espoused, and not by being demonstrative, just by being respectful and caring and loving to each other and to every single person who walked in our house. And I cannot thank them enough, and I cannot love them more. And I wish them all the best on this 58th year of their marriage and their love together. And I'm so thrilled that for 50 of those years, I've got to be on that journey with them, and I look forward to many more. So thank you, Mom and Dad, and happy anniversary. And thank you to our guests tonight, Monika and Adam. What wonderful, wonderful people, and what a wonderful moment to share together. This was really extraordinary. This was a moment of our community coming together in many, many facets. And thank you all for watching. Everybody that joined us, know that no matter who our guests are, those of you that watch and participate by being a part of the energy that we put forth, you're the ones that is the stars. You're the ones that make the community what it is, strong and proud and right. And thank you for joining us. And I'm going to give you a treat on the way out. The very emblematic of inclusivity and intersectionality, a new friend of ours who wanted to share some spirited words of support for the Power Hour, and I think a perfect way to end this evening. So please join us tomorrow night for Meredith Jalusin talking about her wonderful book, Fairest, and then open out mic night on Friday night, and then a whole bunch of incredible stuff coming up. So without further ado, I leave you with this, our good new friend. I hope you enjoy.
Hola, buen dia. It's me, Peppermint. And when I'm not on RuPaul's Drag Race or simply being New York City's sweetest diva, I'm tuned into the fabulously empowering Bayard Rustin Center for Social Justice Power Hour, coming to you every weeknight at 7 p.m. live from our good old friends at the BRCSJ Virtual HQ via their Facebook page. Tune in tonight.